All right. Racism is killing the Second Amendment. So, some of you may know, you know, probably seen this. There was a famous black comedian who once said something like, if you really want to get rid of guns and put a ban on guns and have gun control, it's going to be because of black people. We get it done. And all it's going to take is for every black person to legally register, own, and carry a firearm. That's it. And they will make sure it ain't gonna happen. I laughed. I thought that was hilarious. But then I thought about it. And I was like, he's not joking based on a theory. He's making a joke based on history. Because it's happened before. California. You know, that denizen and bane of Second Amendment that Republicans blame and shame, that blue liberal taking over, taking away people's Second Amendment right. But they forget why that ban happened. That ban happened because, uh, known group. I don't know. You may have heard of them. The Black Panthers decided they're gonna go and they're gonna police their own neighborhoods, and they're gonna go and they're gonna protest. And there was this other guy, this governor dude. He was, you might not have heard of him either. Little known guy. Ronald freaking Reagan. He's the one who put the law into place to banning weapons. Yeah, Republican. Ronald Reagan. Yeah. History. That's a mother, ain't it? But we'll get into that one later when it comes to who really does the most damage to the Second Amendment, Republicans or Democrats. But I digress. When COVID-19 lockdowns hit and everybody started freaking out. So gun sales went out the roof. First time registrations for guns hit a new historical all-time high, beating out the previous record that happened a few years before that, when, some first American black president, Barack Obama, was elected. So, yeah, it beat that record. But you got to understand the scale of how many new guns were registered. It was so high that finding used guns became a task because they were flying off the shelves so fast. And some of these people, they had their weapon, but a weapon isn't really good without one very important thing: ammo. Ammo was scarce, if not impossible to find. And if you did find it, you were paying 2 times, up to 3 times the price that it costed 2 weeks prior the lockdowns. But, the fear wasn't, from the white Republican male. No, 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 no. The fear was because people of color, people in the LGBTQ community, were afraid of how Donald Trump was handling things when it came to the COVID situation. And they're afraid that this guy just might win a second term. With a second term, he's already shown that at this point, he felt like he could do, say, and get away with anything. He survived 2 impeachments, 2 investigations, you name it. He survived them. So he felt like Teflon Don. And I would say he was pretty much, he had the Senate, he had the House. Yeah, he was pretty much Teflon. They couldn't touch him. But the thing about when the people of color, black people, LGBTQ, they wanted to send a message that they weren't going to take this, sitting around and getting shot. Hands up, don't shoot. Oops. I'm unarmed, don't matter. Yeah. That was pretty much done. With the George Floyd, that was pretty much the clincher. So now you got something that most Americans didn't even know existed. You have armed black militias going to these protests, peaceful protests, might I add. And you had LGBTQ people going to these protests, armed. So now you have medics giving out water, Band-Aids, 9mm bullets if they needed. They were there. And they were queer. So that made a lot of people a little nervous for some reason. Now, a lot of people were saying, oh, the protests weren't peaceful and they rioted and they looted. Yeah, I guarantee you, not a single peaceful protest that had armed people of color, armed people from the LGBTQ community, not a single solitary one got violent. No abuses by the police. No harassment. Peaceful. As it's supposed to be. So, now, amazingly enough, we have white Republican states, counties, municipalities, and cities passing laws and ordinance left and right forbidding not only open carry. Oh, no. They're putting new laws and ordinances on concealed carry where they can ban that. Now, you would think the diehard white Republicans, the true patriotic Americans would be literally up in arms with their pitchforks in one hand and AR-15 in the other. We ain't gonna take that from these political wonks. Well, they voted for those political wonks. In fact, in the most recent vote, 6-1 in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Yeah, that's South Carolina. The one with Lindsey Graham. Yeah, he's one of the senators. One of 2 senators. 2 Republican senators. In a Republican-run state, Republican governor. Yep. Woohoo. And a majority of the local governments are run by Republicans, even though they're not Republicans. But, everything they do is Republican. Because, they're not political elections. So we can't tell they're Republican. Right? Right. Okay. So you would think they'd be like, no, not here, but yeah, here. South Carolina, they said, screw the Second Amendment. We can't have all those people carrying weapons. There's too many of them packing, and they're not afraid to use it anymore. They're not going to take us, creating laws that suppress them quietly. And if they get too loud, we, put a beating on them. But if they got guns, that beating ain't gonna happen too quick, right? So this is all about having the right to bear arms. But not only having the right to bear arms, but exercising that right to bear arms. So, yeah, the racists, the politicians who make unfair, unjust, biased laws, and of course, the police. They seem to have a major problem with open carry, concealed carry. That's what they say. But let's face it, they have a problem with people of color, minority groups, having weapons, protesting. In fact, that was the major sticking point to this latest law. You can't bring a weapon to a public protest. So for the last, 150 years in South Carolina, they had no problem with Bubba and his band of merry men wandering up and down the street with their guns. But now, all of a sudden, they have a problem. Could it be because of the January 6th insurrection? Well, let's see. Lindsey Graham, Republican state, Republican governor. Yeah, I don't think they have a problem or a threat. So, no, I don't think January 6th, they're worried about those guys coming after him because, according to Lindsey Graham, it was a misunderstanding, just, it was fine. Right, Lindsey? So, the problem's not the guns, it's who has the guns. And that's blatantly obvious. So, it's hard to abuse somebody, shoot them down, beat them down, when half the crowd has more firepower than you. Officer friendly, the good guy. But you're not because, I haven't yet to see a good guy turn in that bad apple and actually get a promotion or accredited or charged. So, yeah. Second Amendment's it's dying. And it's being slowly, methodically killed because of racism. Congratulations. Those constitutional Second Amendment rights were good for thee, but apparently they're not good for me. Hope you liked it, because your fear of the other people, it's going to take away your guns. You don't have to worry about the Democrats. You're doing just fine on your own.